the Hellmouth. Hope everybody's 5x5. This is Major Slayage, Ket Arik, Rewatch, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. My name is Eric. To my right, your left, my offbeat, outstanding, omnicompetent, oratorially talented wife and co-host. You know her as half the powerhouse duo that is Kim and Ket. Stay alive, baby. Give it up for the objectively one-of-a-kind original, Ketyn Porter.
I remain very impressed by these.
We're going to run out of letters eventually.
As someone who is, little trivia about me. I'm trying to get back into like memorizing monologues, and I'm starting with one from Julius Caesar. And boy, oh boy, is my brain matter not as
gray as it used to be.
Gray as it used to be. So I'm very impressed.
It's not like riding a bike, huh?
Nope. It is like riding a bike if you suddenly had fish fins for legs and hot dogs for arms.
Hey, welcome. We're going to talk about Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 2, Episode 15, Phases, which I rightly guessed was going to be about werewolves and the moon. Mm-hmm. Although I didn't know we were going to get into the Oz of it all this early. And so I was, during the watch along, we do a watch along for Patreon. We watch the episode and comment on it before we record this. And I'm seeing it for the first time in many years, these first couple seasons anyway. Did not remember we got here this quickly.
Yeah.
So fun.
Here we are.
What'd you think of this one?
It was hit or miss. Mostly hits because I think these characters are more comfortable in their skin. Like the actors are more comfortable in the character's skin. So when things are on the clunky side, they're better at like internally justifying stuff.
I could see that. Yeah. I would say this one was more miss than hit for me. Although I was grateful that it is a Monster of the Week episode and not just picking up with the anguish we left off last week. I needed an emotional break. I needed time to recharge my batteries. So I expected this to be a little bit lighter, a little bit sillier. But I think my overall thought on this episode was it was written by Rob D. Hotel and Dean Batali. And it felt to me, see if you know what I'm talking about here, like they wrote the show after reading only like a paragraph description of the show. And they said, okay, this show is about, monsters and it's about subverting traditional gender roles. And it's about feminism. And they went, all right, well, we're going to work some things in about that stuff.
Yeah. About what how we think feminism presents itself, or how we associate feminism with presenting itself.
Or we just wanted to touch on these things. Just make sure every scene has a comment about men are like this.
Yeah.
Bitches be shopping. Like it was just kind of like, a little, as the kids would say, a little mid, a little 6'7". Is that what they're saying?
Oh God.
Did you bring a spell for us this week?
I did. So this is one of my first spells that I wrote. You can do this at any full moon. There's a lot of hoobajoo stuff that I wrote beforehand. I was very precious with like how I wrote my spells in the very beginning, which is fine. I was finding my rhythm. They were all a little like overly intricate, sort of difficult to recreate. And now I realize like it's just about intention and symbolism. So the beginning words that you'll see, not as relevant as the ritual itself, but I'll share all of it. So this is something that you can do on any full moon called a ladder spell. So what you would do is you would take a piece of twine, and ideally it's the most fun if you're able to see very clearly the full moon. Get a lawn chair, go sit outside, find a place where you can see the full moon very clearly. And what you're going to do is you're going to set an intention. Now this whole thing, I did a whole thing with some water that I charged in the previous full moon. I had, all this kind of stuff, but really what you need is a piece of twine, the moon, and an intention. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the twine, and what I like to do is tie a knot in the twine. You're going to have to tie 9 different knots, so you want to leave room for it. But I would like to kind of try to get the circle of the knot around the moon and then tie it around the moon. And what you're going to say...
Kind of like the kids in the hall, I'm crushing your head, like the perspective of it?
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. So what I did for this particular one, you would repeat the same little rhyme with a different intention. So I call in abundance, strength, and power. Okay, so that was what my intention was, to do the most good for myself and my family. So I tied the first knot and said, by knot of 1, the spell's begun. By knot of 2, tie the second knot, it cometh true. By knot of 3, so mote it be. By knot of 4, this power I store. By knot of 5, the spell's alive. By knot of 6, this spell I fix. By knot of 7, events I'll leaven. By knot of 8, it will be fate. By knot of 9, what's done is mine. And then you close the circle and hang on to the little rope as just kind of a reminder. Now,
could you make a bracelet out of it? Like wear it? Would that be allowed?
Yeah. Now, what you could do, let's say you wanted to like unbind something, you could do the same thing by untying each knot and going backwards, basically. So there you go. We'll share it.
Very cool. It's always so fun that you always have so many of these. I sometimes feel like I'm putting you on the spot. Like, hey, and you need it. Don't forget, you need a spell for this episode. And I'm waiting for the day when you go, I'm tapped out, bro. I've done them all. But like, you always have so much stuff. You've put so much work into this over the last several years. You've really developed a really robust practice, and you are really knowledgeable about all the different aspects. And I'm very impressed by all of it.
Thanks, sweetie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Not a lot of my spells are very, very specific. We'll hit some where it's like almost not relevant to other people, but I hopefully will at least have a means of like
picking out something universal about it
exactly.
that could be done. Now you had mentioned we don't always do some of your favorite segment. The why am I holding
yeah, I don't know.
I think it's because of again when I used to sing with my band, you don't want it to come unplugged, you don't want to step on it, so you give it lots of slack. I think that's what
and it looks cooler.
Is this what you would call that? Does this look cool, kids?
It's not. 6, 7.
Yeah, we don't always do the marital grievance segment, and you've said sometimes that you don't always want to do it because it feels like you bring up more things than I do.
Yeah, and it makes me look like an asshole. So my marital grievance is that I'm going to go on strike for marital grievances until he has a marital grievance about me.
But you had said you wanted to do the segment today because you had a twist on it.
Yeah, I have an anti-marital grievance.
Don't know what that's going to be, so take it away.
So I really genuinely struggle like tuning out sound, and I know that it's very annoying because I, no tea, no shade, have significantly better hearing than he does, and he makes a lot of sounds. So I imagine that it's annoying that like I do everything in my power to not comment on like some sound that he's making until it's literally like feels like someone hammering a nail into my eardrum. I really do try. I really genuinely really try.
I appreciate you.
One of the things that has always been
there's an anti-marital grievance. So far, all I've heard is I'm annoying and make a lot of sounds.
Listen,
okay.
One of the things that has always been very frustrating is, especially when I'm reading, it's very difficult for me to tune out sounds. Eric is on a gum chewing kick, and I'm really trying to not just like every single second tell him to stop chewing gum. But when we go to bed, it's like all I can hear if he's chewing gum, and it like is very frustrating, and I'm trying not to be annoying. But last night he came to bed and he wasn't chewing gum, and I didn't want to say anything, but then he goes, "Did you notice that I didn't bring gum to bed?" And it just really meant a lot to me that rather than like digging your heels in and being annoyed that I was annoyed, you just like made this little adjustment that made me feel really seen and appreciated.
Yeah, no, and I could imagine that's annoying as shit because I get into bed and I'm either going to read or play Call of Duty on my phone or just scroll the internet. And then I chew to the last second and then I take my gum out and stick it on my nightstand. And so sometimes I wake up.
It's really annoying.
It's super annoying. And so you have every right to be annoyed. But yeah, I thought I would spare you. I can't promise it's going to happen tonight, but you got the one. You got the one mild reprieve.
Yay!
So that's a little peek into our life. What's going on here when we're not talking about Buffy? We're trying not to murder each other over gum.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you want to kick this one off?
Yes, I do. So we open on a fun little scene with Oz looking at a very familiar cheerleading statue in the trophy case. And he is commenting that the trophy's eyes are following him. And if you remember, that is from season 1, episode 3, I think, The Witch.
Our first non-vampire monster of the week. So we've got a reference to the witch. We've got,
if it weren't for you, Willow would be Robbie the robot's love slave. I wouldn't even have a head.
look, we know the show.
We know this show all
and
from
so it's
season
almost
1.
like, wonky.
Yeah, that's very true.
Ham-fisted, forced in there.
So Willow comes up to him and they're very cute. They clearly had a little date last night with no smooches, which we learn later. Willow walks off like the sweet little button that she is. And here comes Mr., as Oz calls him, Mr. Single Entendre Larry. This fucking character is so goddamn ham-fistedly written.
Yeah.
Like, I get what they're trying to do, but man, oh man, did they have to fucking shoot me in the face with a bazooka about it.
Yeah, I think a little subtlety could have still worked. It didn't have to be so on the nose.
It really didn't.
Just a gross comment about a girl or invading her space a little bit, but like
even like asking, doing the exact same thing that he's doing, asking Oz about the new girl that he's,
what's going on with you and Firecrotch?
Yes, like just be a dick. You don't have to be like a big, giant, hairy, swinging, like smelly dick with legs. Like, it's so overbearing
because he's got so much he does. Like, so are you with her because of the little schoolgirl thing? Let me guess, it's just an act. Because if you're a senior, what's the point of dating a junior unless she puts out? Like, he's just got all these theories, and it's just it's way too much.
And Oz is just very Oz and chill about it, which was refreshing at the very least. So they're talking about that. Larry is not the only horn dog around here, because Willow, this I did appreciate. I do like when women, especially in this era, are portrayed as like interested in sex.
Yeah.
And they did do a good job of this with Willow. They didn't make her scared of it.
Right.
They made her want.
We think she's trying to have sex, or she just wants a kiss. She just wants physical intimacy. She just wants some kind of PDA.
Yeah, but she knows where that's going.
And she saw how well it worked out for Buffy. So she's like, how do I get me some of that?
Exactly. But again, we have some lines in here that like just feel really dated. She makes a comment about Cordelia.
1-800 I'm dating a skanky hoe.
It's like skanky hoe. Are we doing skanky hoe? Like, are we doing that?
Rob De Hotel and Dean Batali are doing that. Skanky hoe.
Yeah. So let's go somewhere else, shall we? Zordy is making out in Cordelia's daddy's car. This line threw me for a loop-de-loop around the planet when she says,
"Excuse me? We didn't come here to talk about Willow. We came here to do things I can never tell my father about because he still thinks I'm a good girl."
I'm like, why are you even thinking about telling your father any fucking thing that has to do with any fucking thing having to do with you and boys? Why are you even saying that? Why? Like, I wanted to crawl out of my own skin. I hated it so much. Did you catch that?
I did. I think too. And I feel like I'm going to beat this same drum the whole time, because there's a line later that during the watch along, I was like, oh, this was written by men. This didn't feel like something
we'll
a teenager
get to that,
was. I'm not going to spoil it now. But I feel like they're writing this from their perspective.
Right. Not.
She's a girl who would never tell her dad all the dirty things she does. That's not Cordelia's perspective.
No.
That's their perspective.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this whole episode is just littered with that. And it was frankly tiresome.
But also Xander doesn't like that Willow's affection is splintered now because she has Oz, and Cordelia doesn't like that he's distracted by the fact that Willow isn't
he's
obsessed
got
with him.
Gorgeous, adorable, funny,
charming
Cordelia here just wants to make out.
Yeah.
And he's on about Willow, and then she says, and when you're not on about Willow, you're on about Buffy.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel justified. I know he likes that Willow followed him around like a puppy dog their entire lives.
I just don't see him giving a shit when
but
he's
I also don't
making out with Cordelia.
But I also don't see him minding Oz. Oz is like a super good dude.
Agreed.
So none of this connected for me.
Yeah. Again, they watched
Giles said previously on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
That's exactly. Yeah. Now I do take umbrage with Cordelia at the end of this scene because Xander hears a twig snap and Cordelia's like, oh, you're distracted again, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, girl,
Sunnydale, Hellmouth.
you on the Hellmouth, you hear a twig snap, you assume it's a demon.
Or a puppet or
like you have to.
Something.
It's something. And that was the only thing where I was like, you've been doing this Scooby thing long enough that you know.
Or even if
And it could have saved her dad's car.
Right. Because if she'd gone, you know what, then let's drive somewhere else. No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. So a werewolf jumps onto the roof of her dad's soft top convertible.
Punches through the convertible, arm in the car, trying to get everybody. Cordy backs up and jams the brakes and flips the wolf off.
It's a great
which I thought was a fantastic move. We do a segment where we pick our favorite moves. I wonder if this one's going to come up.
I wonder. Later. Yeah, that was great. And that was very, for those of you that listen to our sister podcast, Kim and Ket's Day Lab, maybe that was very much a Sammy move for sure. So we cut to the next day. Luckily, the whole gang is like werewolf. It's a werewolf, which I appreciate. It's like we're on the Hellmouth. A wolf-like man jumped onto our car. We can safely assume it's a werewolf.
Right.
We also get a little bit of lore that the full moon is actually 3 nights, which I not only appreciated, but actually incorporated into my witchcraft. This is totally true because it was the first
round
time.
Up a little bit.
It was the first time I'd ever heard that was when I watched this show. And I do, in fact, have this app that tells me, you know, what phase the moon is in. And there are certain nights where just based on how the earth is turning in relation to the moon, where like the 100% full is at like noon the next day.
Okay.
So the sort of, this is the full moon night, but the 2 days on either side of it are pretty fucking full.
Yeah.
Right. And like sometimes the night of the full moon isn't even 100%. It's
so
like 99.9.
Where werewolves are concerned,
they would be responding. Yeah. But yeah, so I like that lore.
I'm going to use that face you just made as your thumbnail for the episode.
That's fair. Sustained. So gym class, we're learning self-defense, which I liked. I wish that that was actually a thing. It's not.
Where I went to school.
But
also they just thought of this. People have been dying there for a long time.
I don't know that they just thought of it. This is just when they've gotten to it in their curriculum.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say. It's the unit that we're in. We're in the self-defense unit now.
Okay.
We were in the kickball unit before. Then we were in the frisbee unit. Now we're in the self-defense.
Did you have any weird units in gym class?
We played a game very similar to kickball, but it was more fun. It was called mat ball. And rather than bases, we had pretty large, like flat-ish mats or rugs that were probably like 4x2 or 4x3, like rectangles.
Multiple people could be on them.
Multiple people could be on them. And also you had to go around the bases 2 times. So it would be like first, second, third, first, second, third, home. And I just always thought that was fun. I was like kind of sort of good at it.
Never. Is that a game like your gym teacher made up, or is that an existing game? Has anyone else ever heard of mat ball?
I don't know. I think she probably made it up.
Yeah.
Honestly.
We did bowling.
Really?
Fun. We'd get in a bus, drive to a bowling alley, bowl a quick game, and come home. We also did rock climbing. The back wall of our auditorium where the plays were, you move the curtain. There was rock climbing, the little, handholds drilled into the wall.
Did you go to like a fucking Richie Rich school?
No, it was a public school, but it was like the nicest of the 3 public schools.
Damn.
And so then
I didn't have a rock climbing wall and I had to pay tuition.
At the end of that unit, we took a weekend camping trip and went actually rock climbing.
Mat ball sucks. Oz does a really cute thing where he tucks Willow's tag in, which is like such a caring nothing gesture. Xander is being weird, like calls Oz out weirdly. I'm like, he's not Angel. Like, calm down. Like, he's your fucking friend. Oz is awesome. You look like an idiot.
You bring up a good point, though. He didn't like Angel at first, talked himself out of all those instincts, reluctantly warmed up to Angel for everyone's sake.
Angel's our friend. Except I don't like him.
And then Angel turned around and betrayed everybody.
That's
so
fair.
He might be a little gun shy. I didn't give him credit for that. So you said that right now.
That's actually That's very true.
I'm not just going to embrace.
I don't know that Xander knows that
that's what's happening.
That's what's happening, but like that makes sense. Yeah. Ugh. Larry, I wrote down so many of Larry's lines. It's like, this is the worst line. No, this is the worst line.
Teresa, be still my shorts.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
I hate to, but I kind of snickered at that. Like it's terrible, but of his bullshit ham-fisted misogynistic lines, that one at least had a little bit of style to it.
I guess, but it's just, we can't condone this type of behavior. So Buffy gets paired with Larry, and Willow is like, you need to not murder him. And I was like, try me. But first we learn he's got like a bandage on his arm, and he's like, oh yeah, I got attacked by a dog. It bit me. Oz then comes in and is like, oh yeah, I got attacked too by my little nephew.
Ow! Johnny, that really hurt.
So that happened. File that away. So they're doing like a flippy move, and Buffy is like, I can't do it. And then Larry like aggressively grabs her ass.
Wind up like Pete Townsend from The Who.
Like,
and then
like suspension or expulsion
or
type
jail.
Like it was really aggressive. And so she flips him, and I loved it, and I was here for it.
Oz said a weird thing though, because the teacher explains you're going to bend over at the waist and flip him over. And then Buffy does exactly that. And Oz goes, or that works too. I'm like, that's the lesson. I thought this is what we were doing.
Yeah. So in the library, Giles has got an adorable little globe and a little moon mini globe. It's very cute. And they're just trying to figure out this whole 3-night moon werewolf situation. He laughs at a terrible joke about moon pies from Xander.
Ironically, led to the invention of the moon pie.
Oh. Moon pie.
This guy stinks.
Xander makes a good joke every 7. This wasn't one of them.
Yeah, no, this was so weird because they're talking about the way the full moon affects people. I'm like, does the full moon make Giles a simpleton?
Yeah, and that did remind me, like, it is a thing that doctors, nurses, police officers, security guards all talk about. They're like, we don't know why, but when there is a full moon, it is crazier. I need to figure out if there's been like any sort of study or why that is.
Yeah, well, we do a Trivia Crypt minisode for every episode. Comes out the week after the main episode, where we just do a deep dive into behind the scenes stuff, fun facts, and then anything like this that comes up in our conversation that we don't know what it is, we look it up, and so we put it there. So that's on Patreon for $5 a month.
Yeah.
Why don't you Trivia Crypt that?
I'm going to, because obviously,
figure out what's going on.
You know, correlation is not causation. Did you hear that?
That's good science.
The Scoobies are not immediately blaming the werewolf itself because they're like, it's a human the other 27 days out of the month. And it is out of its control when it transforms.
It might not even know what's happening when it's in its wolf form. File that away for later.
Yeah.
But also I thought it was one of the examples of good writing in this episode is that theme of duality and not blaming the person for what the monster does, because Buffy is probably still wrestling with that. Xander even kind of brings it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Giles, we know from the last episode, is still trying to, with regard to Angel, the person and the monster are separate, and the person shouldn't have to pay for what the monster does. And so I thought that was a really good thematic touch there.
Agreed. So they decide that they are going to bring the vampire back. Damn it, the werewolf back alive.
Buffy the Werewolf Slayer.
Buffy the Werewolf Slayer.
Or not Slayer.
Now it's that night, and Giles and Buffy are at like makeout point. Giles is like shining his flashlight into people's cars, and Buffy has a really funny line where Giles is like, I just want to know if anyone saw anything, and Buffy goes, Giles, no one saw anything. And I just thought it was so adorable and cute.
But it's also like, Giles isn't clueless. He's boned down with Jenny. Like he knows how the world works. Giles felt like Giles isn't an alien. Like he's a human man who used to be Ripper.
Yeah.
So it just felt like he's just so weirdly out of touch.
I think what happens, I'm going to play devil's advocate for Giles for a second. As someone who works with kids, in the moment, sometimes you have to actively remind yourself that you were a kid. sometimes you have to actively remind yourself of like what is the normal behavior of a child and put yourself there. I think he could have reasonably been sort of so focused on trying to find this werewolf that he kind of was like, oh, right.
But if he and Jenny were making out in a car, it's not about being kids. It's about your eyes are closed and your tongue is in someone else's mouth. You're not going to see anything.
So Buffy is also getting all the tea.
And you won't believe what I saw. Brittany Podell was making out with Owens to deal, but he goes with Barrett Williams. If she ever found... No sign of the werewolf. How about you?
She's catching cheaters in the act.
I loved it. Buffy goes into, they kind of separate. Buffy goes into the woods and she's Wile E. Coyote netted up into a tree.
The rebels getting snatched up in the Ewok trap from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. And so there's a poacher. And if you're wondering what kind of dude this poacher is, he's exactly what you think a cartoon poacher would be.
He's Timu Crocodile Hunter.
Man, oh man, oh man. And he was written pretty fucking ham-fist. A girl can't do anything. He sucked. Poacher thinks Giles and Buffy are Biles.
Yeah, he's like, hey, good on you for hooking up with a teenager.
Well, it's good to get the fruit while it's fresh.
This guy stinks!
And he's got a teeth necklace. He sells the werewolf pelts in Sri Lanka. And Eric and I had a discussion. And I think we should write some lore about the Sri Lankan werewolf pelt black market underground and how the pelts function, who's buying them, how they're being used.
I look forward to listening to your fanfic about this.
Great. I guess he's too scared. I guess he knows he'll be outwritten. That's fine. They are, both out for the hunt, but Buffy and Giles obviously want to find the werewolf first because this poacher does not
he doesn't catch and release.
He doesn't catch and release. Yeah. We do learn that the werewolf looks for sexual heat. So this was a reasonable place for him to go.
He's kind of Jason Voorhees. He's out to kill fucking teenagers.
Right. But if he's not here, we have to think about where else they might be.
Some grinding.
Yeah. But first, our friend Teresa is walking down the street. We met her in gym
threatened
class.
by Larry.
Yeah, I liked this actress. She doesn't have much to do, but she had like a very distinct character, and I appreciated it. And she meets a tall, dark, and handsome on her walk home
with a full mime face of cake makeup on.
Listen, I didn't mind it. It was fine with me. Eric thought he was creepy. I thought he was charming. And it's Angel, by the way. He immediately sort of like disarms Teresa. He's like creepily like twirling a little flower. Eric thought he was creepy. It's pretty privilege. I get it.
Yeah.
Because like if David Boreanaz didn't look like David Boreanaz, this would be creepy.
Yeah, Clem walking around spinning a flower in his hand.
Totally creepy. It's fully pretty privilege. I get it. Regardless, here for it.
You said you were glad to get a bit of Angel. As we talked about, there's a couple of missed opportunities for misdirection in this episode, which is one of my pet peeves. I don't feel like we used him enough to justify putting him in here.
I don't disagree. And a lot of the stuff that you said, I don't know how to fix it. Like,
right.
I feel like other times we've been able to kind of be like, oh, you just put this scene here and you move this over this way.
We'd have to tear this episode apart and kind of restructure it to get the most out of everything they set up and they kind of squander.
Yeah.
But I feel like, Angel, we get the gut punch from Angel happens when he's off screen. We could have left him off screen and I might have been more effective, honestly.
Right. And frankly, we'll get to it. I'll talk about when we get there, but I'm more on board with you. I think I love the way David Boreanaz
plays Sinister.
Literally plays.
Mm-hmm.
He's like he's playful as Angelus. And so I'm always just like ready for him to be in a scene. But I agree with you. So Party at the Bronze. This is the other place where teenagers tend to have a lot of sexual heat.
Yes.
If you will.
What kind of heat?
Sexual.
Is that Larry with his braces?
Ooh, yeah, it is. So there's Party at the Bronze,
which I've missed. We haven't had a good like band at the Bronze scene in a while.
I agree. And I also loved Cordillo on the couch, just having girly girl time.
Bonding over how crazy Xander drives both of them.
Yes, exactly. which was interesting because this is the first time we've ever seen these two interact this way. And it was so refreshing and I was so here for it. But now I'm like, was this two writers that didn't know enough about their backstory to know that this would be a very strange pairing sitting on the couch at the
Well,
Bronx?
I think they justify it enough because, like I said, the common denominator is Xander.
Mm-hmm.
She can't go complain to Harmony about Xander.
Sure.
So what's she gonna do? Also, they've had a shaky alliance other times. Remember, they were supposed to set up the AV equipment for one of the 13 dances in season 1.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah,
And,
also I guess they've been in enough Scooby situations. Okay, I take that
And
all
Willow
back.
even mentions at one point, she's like, and Cordelia asked me to look at her history homework, so I think I have to do that now.
I
So,
take all of that
yeah,
back.
this is, I think this is an organic
So
relationship.
regardless, but it was very refreshing. I like these two. I like when Cordelia is has taken her armor off.
Mm-hmm.
She's fun when she's armed up.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to see
When
her.
she's vulnerable.
Yeah. It's
And
lovely.
and them dishing on boys, because Willow starts to complain about Oz as well. And Cordy, instead of being queen bee bitch, takes Willow's side.
Yeah.
It's like, what's
he waiting for?
Doesn't he realize how good he has it? This was the sole example of the gender conversation that really worked. I almost put this entire scene as my best line.
Yeah, it felt very organic for sure.
It was good.
And then there's a werewolf.
Big floppy rubber feet, you noticed.
Big floppy rubber feet.
Now who's dissociating and focusing on the minutia?
Well, this fucking costume.
This is terrible.
This is the gum chewing of costumes. Like, I'm trying not to focus on it, and
But yeah, how can you?
How can I not?
My hypothesis was that they don't get us the same amount of money for every episode. They get a amount of money for the season. We've had some big set pieces. We've had some really the judge was big makeup, and that's 2 episodes worth. That's 2
a lot of
days.
really impressive fights where they had to
Big
hire
fights.
like many stunt people.
And I feel like this is like on sitcoms, they used to do a flashback episode every so often to save money. Like, so they would basically only have to sit around the table and just do setup lines and then just play clips, and it would cost $5 per piece. This almost felt like the version of that. This is our $5 episode.
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't
Which
hire
is
a makeup
unfortunate.
crew, so they just went to the lot where they were shooting. Like, do they have an old wolf costume from the 40s we can borrow?
Yeah.
Because like the face didn't really move. It's kind of
Yeah,
the whole
it was
time.
just it was rough sauce.
And the fights were lackluster too, which we're about to get to.
We're going to talk about that. They definitely I really noticed it with the fights when you pointed it out, especially because we literally just came off of episodes where I was like, "Oh, the best move is this entire fight scene
Right.
on a dock," right?
Yeah, we just had the lethal weapon fight in the sprinklers last episode. We had a big fight in the back of a truck. The dock was amazing. Like,
and this
not so much.
Yeah. So Biles pulls up because that's where the hormones live, at the Bronze.
And everyone's fleeing the bronze.
Yeah.
Willow runs right out and is like, he's inside.
Yeah. Buff goes in. When I tell you that we had better stage choreography when we had the pirates fighting the Lost Boys in my middle school production of Peter Pan, I am not exaggerating.
Yeah, this was weak
Rough sauce. Like,
Jesus Christ.
You know what it honestly reminded me of? And this is a compliment to you. This particular fight where she like takes a chain and like kind of throws it around his neck. It's really bad. Go watch it. We used to do this thing with all of our friends, the 48-hour film festival, and we would just do it for us.
Yeah, we invited like 3 teams. We draw some prompts out of a hat.
Like, it was just so fun.
And
We
make our
just
own
did
movie
it
in 48
for no
hours.
reason.
I wonder if I have that anywhere. I could show some of the clips right here.
But Eric's team, we were not on the same team. They staged an entire fight in my tiny kitchen at the time with a bunch of eggs and, you know, whatever cameras we had at the time. So like, it looks amateur, of course. Like, we shot it in 48. You can do the math. That was worlds better than any of the fights in this episode.
Thank you.
But I mean, I'm not even like blowing smoke. Like, you're going to go back and watch it and you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's just objectively true. That it was just unreal. It was wild. So anyway, we then cut to Buffy. So the werewolf gets away. And we cut to Buffy talking to the poacher who has also come to the Bronze because that's where the hormones live.
That's their slogan, actually. It's on the business card.
Yeah.
The Bronze, where the
hormones live. And he's super mad that she didn't kill it. And he basically is like, if somebody else dies, it's on you, little girl, and makes comments about her being a woman.
And this actor didn't help. This was poorly written.
Yeah.
But I feel like the right actor could have grounded this guy a little bit and made him believable. But he was schmacky, and he was like, he was a villain from the show Hercules.
And he did have lines like, next thing they're going to tell me is I can't hunt elephants for their ivory. And it's like, of course you can't hunt elephants for their ivory, you absolute arch villain.
Yeah, there's no subtext.
Yeah.
It's
like,
just everyone's a mustache twirling like maniac.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about people killing elephants. Bad werewolf costume ends up sniffing out in the alley a dead body. That dead body is one Miss Teresa. There ends up being a standoff between a vampire and a werewolf,
which I thought was going to lead up to something cool. Why
they didn't have the budget for it to be cool?
Fight? So they just kind of stare at each other, and then we cut.
They kind of just like both sort of just shook hands to be like, it's a draw almost. Like it was
so disappointing. Yeah, if you're gonna put Angel in here or just have him sneer at a werewolf, I'd have left David at home.
Yeah, and also like I would have loved to see a fucking
werewolf
vampire fight where then Buffy is having to, oh my gosh, Buffy is in the melee. She can't kill the werewolf, but the werewolf is trying to kill her. And then she also, for a different reason, can't kill Angel, and Angel is trying to kill her.
But she has to keep Angel from killing
the werewolf. How fucking fun would that have been?
Instead, we just kind of get a little stare down. So silly. And frankly, if the werewolf costume is going to be this bad, put that shit in the shadows. Don't give us a full-on close-up of like the weird animatronic.
Yeah.
It looked like a Chuck E. Cheese robot.
Yeah.
Like it was terrible.
Yeah. Or like it looked like a piece of Halloween decor that you would buy at Home Depot. And you'd be like, oh, damn. Like this is like a really like spooky animatronic werewolf thing that is like $300 and it's sold out at every Home Depot, but you're just going to sit it on your porch to scare kids.
Right.
Like it's cool for that.
Shouldn't be on primetime television.
Exactly.
On the new WB Tuesday.
So they're looking for the werewolf again. Biles is in the woods, and Giles fell asleep in his car. This didn't bother me. As a very sleepy person, me being on Slayer hours would suck.
Yeah, and the emotional toll of the adrenaline.
Yeah, like he got sleepy.
I didn't mind this.
On the radio, somehow the cops, were able to identify the body of a minor, somehow get her parents to the place to identify the body, and also let the local news team know that this went down and get the name of a minor out to be reported on the radio that very morning. And
that it's connected to the animal attacks.
And that it's connected to the
animal attacks. It was like in that
attacks.
episode of Always Sunny when they went to the ski resort and the PA address kept like giving them the plot.
That's exactly what
That's
this was.
What this
yeah.
was.
And Buffy immediately internalizes that as like, the poacher was right. I should have killed him. Cut to
the werewolf sweeping in the woods, and he's snoring, and because he had such a big night, and then he changes and it's Oz. He was so cute.
And you liked his little rippling muscles.
He did. He had some cute little ripply muscles. A teeny tiny. He's a little short king.
Yeah, I thought it was funny when Xander was like, "This werewolf, he's a 6 foot tall. Oz is 4'8".
Right.
So I guess he gets not just his snout gets bigger, his whole thing gets bigger. He's like the Hulk.
Sure. I'll give it to him.
Sure.
So we get to, God, Oz is so fucking charming. Seth Green is so good at what. Do I think Seth Green has a lot of range? Not really, but God damn it, is he good at what he does?
Well, he's good at deadpan, and he's good at grounding it and making it feel legit.
He knows what he's good at, and he has perfected it, and he's the only one doing it.
Right.
It's impressive. There are two different. To me, I'm gonna nerd out. There are two different types of good actors. There are people that understand their brand, understand what people expect and want them to do. And maybe they know that they don't have a ton of range, so they're going to get really good at this thing that they can do. And then there's also like the chameleons, like the John Turturros and the Meryl Streeps and the David Tennants, like those kind of people. But I think that both are wildly useful actors. This has been Actor Studio.
What's your favorite swear word?
What is your favorite swear word?
Oh, it's got to be fuck.
It's mine too, and it's such a lame answer, but it's just like it's such a it means so many things.
It's like Smurf. You can use it in any context.
Yes,
because you think about it, the entirety of human existence is tied up in that one word.
Mm-hmm.
Every biological impulse in us is trying to achieve that, right? So everything we do is in some way tied to that outcome. But when something goes great, you say fuck yes. When something goes bad, you say we're fucked. We had our little niece visited, and we let her watch Rick and Morty. This is the kind of thing her parents probably wouldn't let her watch for a couple more years.
They definitely would not.
But they're like, hey, you're with your aunt and uncle, like, you're on aunt and uncle rules. And poor little sheltered girl was just like, so I got a question. This F word that they're just using so liberally, like, it means like doing it, but like it means other things too, right? Because they say it in other content. Like, Ketyn had to explain the F word to a 13-year-old.
It was really cute.
It was so cute.
God, she's so cute. So Oz is at home, and he's got a phone call to make to Aunt Maureen. And he says, I'm just going to be out with it. Is my little nephew Jordy, who I like to picture as like 4. I feel like he's like 4 years old. Is he a werewolf?
We don't hear the other end of the phone call, but
all we hear is just Oz going, yeah? And how long's that been going on?
Because she just must have said, it's funny you bring that up. As a matter of fact, he is like, it seems
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Why would they?
I love it.
Oh, I mean, you asked. I have to say.
It's perfect. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Or maybe she was like, oh, I don't know about werewolf, but he has been exhibiting some strange behavior on the full moon.
We call it Coyote Boy here, but I guess
Coyote Boy
it could be a wolf. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I loved it.
Zoologist.
I thought it was adorable. It was perfect. No notes. So now Oz is like at school the next day, and he's like,
and he did such a good job with this, walking around with this secret, the weight of this. And now this is the first time where we get into kind of where I think they could have gotten a little more mileage out of moving the puzzle pieces around a little bit.
Yes.
Because we know for sure we've had the physical reveal, and then we get the bit about the cousin. The next scene, Xander is going to suspect Larry because of his bite.
Yeah.
We could have just moved the order of things around a little bit. I know we needed Oz to hear that someone died and to him to be racked with guilt. We needed to hear Buffy say, I screwed up. I should have killed it, so that he can't just come clean to the Scoobs. So we needed all that to happen in that order. But we already know it's not Larry. So it's a little bit of a kind of we're spinning our wheels for Xander to chase Larry down.
But they did find a way to make that interaction interesting.
Oh, that was a really cool scene. Yeah, well, I'm jumping way ahead.
Yeah. But so what we'll do. So Oz comes in. You pretty much said it. He's freaked out that somebody else was killed. It's Teresa. Buffy is now sort of on the I was wrong. I should have killed the werewolf thing. We also find out Xander slips.
I know what it's like to crave the taste of freshly killed meat, to be taken over by those uncontrollable urges.
You said you didn't remember anything about that.
I said I didn't remember anything about that.
That was great.
But again, that's these writers going, hey, we know the show.
Yeah.
Here's another callback.
But
Here's
that
another
worked.
member berry. But this one was great because this is a question we've had very last episode, I think.
So he has the realization that it must be Larry because Larry already acts like a fucking
He's a predator.
wolfman predator, and he was bitten by a giant dog. So Willow is now encouraging Oz, being like, okay, well, you can help me research, but Oz he can't. He's too staticky, but Willow takes it as rejection, and it was heartbreaking.
He should have been like, oh, I got banned stuff. But Sadie goes, I can't, I have to be somewhere else. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like he was super awkward about it.
Super awkward. Very not Oz about it. So we go to the locker room and listen, here's the gist. As Eric said, it's a French farce. Xander is like, I know you're a werewolf, but he doesn't say werewolf. Larry does have a secret, and the secret is just as shameful, and it's that he's gay. But Xander actually allows him to admit it to himself, and he feels immense relief about it.
There was something beautiful about this.
There was.
And I don't think it was played for laughs. Xander's uncomfortable, but I don't think it's not homophobia. It's more, I don't want to be this wrapped up in this guy who I don't frankly like. I don't want to be this wrapped up in his like intimate personal life.
I don't want to be holding this. For
I'm
this
uncomfortable.
Guy.
And if it gets out, he knows I know, and that's a burden I don't want to carry. So his being twitchy was funny, but at no time did it feel homophobic. I'd say for 1998, this gets high marks.
Yeah, as you said, this was 1998's version of a male ally.
Yeah, and throughout the thing, he justifies, and there's nothing like he's, without saying it, he's defending Larry from perceived judgment of everyone else, and how light Larry feels after admitting it
was very sweet.
Was very, very sweet.
Yeah. So Billow is researching, and Buffy is kind of like, I saw what went down with Oz. Oz is lukewarm and cold, which I thought was so funny.
My favorite Katy Perry song.
And Buffy is kind of like, I like this as well, where it's like, who says you can't make the first move?
Right.
Like, why do you have to wait around? And then the writers ruin it by Willow saying, that won't make me a slut. And I just hate that language was even like,
right.
Because the thing is, as a teenager at this time, we heard that.
Right.
Oh, there's a chance that if I make the first move, I will be considered a slut.
Or if I'm even receptive to his first move. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's the
song you sang in our first episode.
We are solidly in the late 90s where a woman can't do anything right. She's either a slut or a prude. And both are really, really bad. You should kill yourself. That was a bop.
It was. I beatboxed on that, and then I beatboxed the very next episode, and I thought, oh my God, is that going to be my thing? I'm going to beatbox. And I've never done it since.
Did it again. So in this whole exchange in the library, Buffy also has the realization that like the werewolf victims are like mauled.
Right.
Teresa was
it was not
mentioned that she was mauled. So Zuffy goes to the funeral home, and sure enough,
she's got a little Daphne from Scooby-Doo scarf. They pull it down.
Yeah. She's kind of wearing a whole Daphne from Scooby-Doo outfit, but like at Christmas time at her grandma's.
Yeah, with the white tights again, which
white
you hate.
Tights. I really hate them. I can't believe they're burying this poor woman in white tights.
She wore white tights when she was walking with
did.
Angel too. Is this just her signature look?
But I can't.
This is
upsetting.
her best drag eleganza.
Yeah, she's gonna be so bummed.
Now, what's going on here? Because this open casket, they didn't sneak into the morgue.
No,
this is an open casket
the next day,
but with no people
security
around.
Yeah,
it's just like a drop by when you can kind of.
No, I gathered,
like what was happening.
What I gathered was this was night time, and this was the funeral is tomorrow, so they've set up for tomorrow's 8 a.m. funeral.
I don't know why I felt like this took place in the middle of the afternoon.
No, I think this was definitely at night. For sure.
Fun realization that, and I caught this before I could say it. Xander said it was like, wait, if she got her neck bit by a goddamn vampire, she's not staying down.
No, and she didn't.
And we get another terrible fight. They just kind of flop around on the floor. There's no choreography.
This was where I was like, Eric's right. There was no budget for stunt people.
Yeah.
Because it was rough. Frankly, Xander is the one who stabs her with like an
Easel.
easel. And I was like, he might get best move just for ending
Because
it.
he just did something.
Just ended our misery. Ended everyone's misery. Teresa's, Buffy's, ours, everyone's.
Right. But before he stakes her, Teresa has a message.
Angel sends his love.
Now, I'm telling you, I'll die on this hill. We don't get Angel twirling the flower. We don't get him just having a stare down with
We
the.
just get this.
We just get that word. I think it's going to hit with a
you're
ton
right.
of bricks.
You're completely right.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question. Sustained.
Let me racking up W's today.
So we also have a moment where like Xander swallows all of his bullshit and hugs Buffy and says he's not the same guy you knew, which is so not how Xander has been up to this point. And I really loved this. I really love when they give Xander opportunities
to show up.
Yeah, because
the easiest thing in the world to lean into the Angel hate because he thinks that might move him one step closer.
Exactly. And it's lovely. And it when Xander is such a turd Ferguson, a lot of times they do need to remind us like, no, this is a child.
Right.
This is a child that comes from like an abusive, broken home.
Right.
And he's just doing his fucking best in 1998.
Right. When all of the messaging he's receiving from pop culture is to be a douchebag.
Exactly. Yeah. He would have been like, that the trap that the Ewok trap that Buffy fell into, that would have been Xander in the era of social media with Andrew Tate.
Yeah, he would have been snatched right up.
100%.
Into the incel,
100%.
They also have a weird thing as they pull away, which it felt inarticulate.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to talk about it because I don't get it, but go ahead.
They kind of pull out of the hug, and then there's a moment where like the kind of place where characters might think about kissing, but it's the way it's shot and the way it's directed, it's really muddy.
Yeah.
And then Buffy walks out and then Xander makes some comment about
his life is complicated.
Xander imagines he's in a love trapezoid with these three women.
Yeah.
Only one of them tolerates him.
Exactly. Cut to the poacher making silver bullets. You learned something about silver.
Well, yes, but I also think this was a ridiculous scene because we see him in his van making silver bullets while he's on the hunt at night during a full moon when the werewolf could reach down through the roof of his van and fuck up his whole thing. Why wouldn't you make the bullets during the day when there's no werewolves and then you could just show up to the hunt with pre-made bullets that are already ready to fire? Yes, pretty brunette girl.
The lore of this universe is that the bullets need to be crafted under the full moon as well.
How do you know this?
In my heart.
Overruled. Hearsay. Objection, Your Honor. That's hearsay.
That I love that. I'm writing that into my lore.
But he's in a van. They're not soaking up the moon at all.
The moon is omnipresent. Do you think the moon is going to be shackled by your mere man-made structures?
No, I suppose you're right. Oz does turn into a wolf in his house.
Exactly.
With no direct moonlight.
Idiot.
It's the presence of the moon.
Idiots! Overruled. Held in contempt. Get out of here. Straight to jail.
Lock him up.
Oz Amazon primed a box of shackles to his house.
My headcanon is he found these in his parents' bedroom closet. They're into some kinky shit.
That's upsetting.
I feel like I honestly would have rather seen him steal them from the library.
They were like fuzzy pink ones.
Right. He's got like the love cups.
That would have been really funny. But Willow comes to the door and she's like,
I'm not going to be ignored.
Oz is like, this is a bad time. I feel that change is happening. And Willow's like, no, I want smooches and I don't know what your problem is. But then he turns into a werewolf. And and Willow is like, oh, that's your problem.
Right. Because she's like, you don't think I'm going through some stuff too? And he's like, not like this.
He chases her through the neighborhood and she has a Sammy move as well.
Yeah, she jumps over a fence.
And then grabs one of those big metal trash cans.
She haunted houses him. She waits for him and pow.
Yeah, it was great. But who's coming as well? Poacher is out looking for...
Kane is his name, right?
Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah, stupid. Biles is getting a gun together. because it's like, uh-oh, we got to take care of this werewolf. Buffy also tells Giles about Angel turning Teresa. We then cut to Willow running through the woods, and Oswolf catches up with her. And we're like, oh shit, like this is it.
He's bearing down on her.
But then
Nowhere
he
to go.
smells something on the air.
Someone put a pie in a window.
Yep. A
Like in a
moon
cartoon.
pie, if you will.
Moon pie.
When Oswolf runs away, she runs to the library and she's like, yo, 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 the werewolf is Oz. The werewolf is Oz. And she's like, yeah, he's a werewolf, but he doesn't mean to be. And it's so cute.
Which Giles was Giles' original premise.
Yes.
So Buffy has turned the corner on. It's too dangerous. We got to kill it, even if it's a person.
This is very Buffy. This comes up in later seasons where like she struggles with black and white versus gray. And I really relate to it, where it's like sometimes you do have to view your world uncomfortably black and white, and then to be like, oh, but now I'm not. Now this is a gray area. How am I supposed to do this?
Yeah, it's like the Joker calling out Batman for his rules. He goes like, you make yourself these rules, and my entire existence is to get you to break your own rules.
Right.
And that's sort of where Buffy lives. I have these rules. I have this moral code. And the hardest challenges are the ones where she would have to consider breaking
her own code. Yeah. So we also learned that the gun is a trank gun, by the way.
Yeah, they put phenobarbital in there.
Yeah. So we cut to the poacher having lured Oswolf to meet.
Well, the really lackluster prop of meat, like everything in this was so weak.
Yeah. And he's
I wanted a big brontosaurus, like
Brontosaurus,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like put a big rack up, put a skinned deer out, something. Like this guy's a hunter. Like,
no, thank you.
Put something other. It's just like a little plate of hamburger helper. Like it's just so dumb.
I prefer the hamburger helper.
Right, but I don't understand how that little pile of meat is supposed to be more tempting than eating Willow.
Because he doesn't like being a messy eater. He likes that it was.
I don't think we have any evidence of that.
Food.
He just wants something with a toothpick in it.
Yeah,
just a little beanie weenies.
He's very sophisticated, and he doesn't want to be
a werewolf.
With
his pinky up.
Yeah, he doesn't.
No, but when he is a werewolf, that's the werewolf's driving.
Poacher is about to shoot Oswolf, but Buffy comes out of the woods and there's a fight that's kind of lame, and Willow picks up the trank gun and tranks him.
And I would say all the forest stuff in this definitely looked like a set. It looked like it was set up in the corner of a soundstage.
It also looked like the set from my middle school production of Peter Pan.
Yeah, it was also cheap looking.
Poacher wakes up, boo. But Buffy is like, you know what? I've had enough of your shit. I'm going to bend your gun like Bugs Bunny. And I loved it. It was great. It was fantastic. You're right. But normally Bugs Bunny would tie it in a knot.
Or sometimes it would just, you put a big U in it and then
blast
himself in
the face. So that was fun. I like that. It also shows like Buffy's been working out. Like she can, she could have definitely knocked down the Moloch door back in now.
Yeah.
The next day at school, Bander is talking and they're having a conversation about Oz/Larry being a werewolf / coming out as gay. It's another French farce.
Mm-hmm. Talking past each other, but having a conversation that reads on either interpretation.
But then we see, and this is just proof, that if everyone who was gay was just gay, the world would be such a happier place because we wouldn't have all of this repressed anger. Grindr wouldn't be crashing at every Republican gathering, which is true. Look it up.
I want to make sure that we're being clear. We're not victim blaming. Society needs to change to make it so people can feel comfortable.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's exactly
what
I'm saying.
If the gays would just get out of their own way and be
I'm
gay,
saying, like our entire system would be better if people could just be fucking gay.
Yeah.
So
everybody should be gay, a little gay.
I think we all are a little gay.
Yeah.
Like if you really look at it, we're all a little gay.
Mm-hmm.
But we see this really nice moment because two of Larry's former cronies, hit books out of a girl's arm so that she has to bend over.
Which is a thing that happened in the beginning of the episode.
Happened at the beginning. Larry comes down the stairs and he actually picks up her books for her and walks away and ends up like thanking Xander. Like you can see that there's just like a lightness.
Yeah.
There's a lack of posturing. There's a lack of him having to walk through the hallways and feel like he has to like be so aggressively straight that it's just like all of his energy is expended on that.
Mm-hmm.
Willow then comes over to Oz, who's feeling away, which I get.
Yeah.
Like, this is an uncomfortable situation for Oswolf. And Willow just says, do you want to go first? In her cute little Willow way. And Oz says, I'm sorry, I almost ate you, which was so cute. And he thinks that he's going to have to avoid Willow. And Willow's like, I don't see a reason for that. And then this is where the line happens where you were like, this sounds like it was written by a man. And I was already going to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So Willow says,
3 days out of the month, I'm not much fun to be around either.
That's the same thing. Being a werewolf or just being a woman on her menses, those are equivalent. You're also a monster.
It's also like, you are a very lucky woman if it's only like 3 days that your hormones are fucking with you. Because first of all, most of your fuckiness isn't even when you're on your period. When you're on your period, you're just like, you just feel like a bloated donut.
Right.
And you're just bleeding profusely. Also, any of these women who have 3-day periods, you can go fuck yourself. You can absolutely go fuck yourself. But yeah, so this just felt like,
because it's not her perspective. This is the perspective of a man trying to write a funny line in the voice of a teenage girl.
Yeah.
And it fell
it's
flat.
Stupid. Yeah. So, but this scene was not stupid. It was very cute. So they have a cute thing where she says, I would still, if you'd still, and he says, I'd very still. So cute. Then she walks off and then Willow runs back and kisses him.
And I audibly cheered when we did the watch along. Kiss, kiss, kiss. A little biting's fine.
Cute. They're so cute.
I would watch a show where they're the main characters. Yay!
The other thing that was cute and why Seth Green is so great is he has a ridiculously difficult line to say.
A werewolf in love.
Guys, that is an impossible fucking line. When you see a line like that on your script, like full clammy flop sweat when you see that. And he just did it exactly. He did it kind of the only way you can do it, where he just was like, I'm just going to be fucking earnest and grounded and live in it. It was really lovely.
It was sort of the same vibes as Giles saying, vampire in love with the Slayer.
Yes.
How poetic.
Yes. It was, and you can't judge those lines.
It is what it is.
You almost have to like lean into them harder as an actor.
There is an element of gothic melodrama to this show.
Yeah.
And when an episode like this, the tone is so inconsistent, sometimes it's hard, but I feel like, yeah, he did as well with that line as you could.
Yeah.
It is a very Buffy line.
Yeah.
Sunnydale High Yearbook Committee meeting now in session. Who did you have for best dressed?
Best dressed. Nobody can wear a brand name like one Cordelia Chase. She was wearing that Tommy Hilfiger head to toe outfit with a high pony. She just looked straight out of a fucking Tommy Hilfiger Abercrombie magazine.
She looked like every girl I went to high school with.
It looked amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I had this is sort of an interesting pairing with my worst dressed. We got Buffy's last outfit, red mini skirt with her brown galoshes, but I feel
Just
like
boots.
it worked in this this ensemble. The same boots. Well, we'll just get into it now. Worst dressed, Buffy wore a tan coat and a teal nightgown and those same big brown boots.
Yeah.
And it looked like she got dressed in a hurry because her house was on fire.
Yeah, it wasn't working. My worst dressed, unfortunately, and she was just featured in it for so long, was these fucking acid yellow overalls with like a baby blue and acid yellow striped sweater. And I was just like, Willow, this is too much. It's too much. You look like a highlighter. And I just...
You said she looked like...
she looks like she's like... Her
slinging
summer
cotton
job
candy.
is to sling cotton candy at the local state fair. It was just... No, thank you.
What did you have for best line?
Best line I had, which may surprise you because we didn't really talk about it, but it is such a quintessential Buffy line. like Buffy the show
Yeah.
line. It was delivered so well by SMG that I feel like it just really encapsulates why people fell in love with this dialogue.
Yes, let's not jump to any conclusions.
I didn't jump. I took a tiny step, and their conclusions were.
Willow had so many good lines, but I almost feel like she did herself a disservice because they gave her the same construction a number of
3 times. Yeah.
Well, last night was the night before the full moon, traditionally known as the night before the full moon. You're a special boy. With chains and stuff? Why do you have chains and stuff? He said he was going through all these changes, then he went through all these changes.
So she kind of knocked herself out of contention by overdoing it. But I loved Xander, which I criticized the inclusion of this, but it worked.
Willow would be Robbie the robot's love slave. I wouldn't even have a head. And Teresa's a vampire.
That also, I feel like, was very Buffy-esque and executed well.
Yeah, I thought he was great. Who'd you have for worst line?
There were a lot. Pretty much anything Larry said, but I'm going with the internalized misogyny that was so rampant in so many women of this era when Buffy is encouraging Willow to make the first move and she says,
That won't make me a slut.
I had a tie.
Okay.
It was Giles giggling like he's on nitrous at the moon pie joke.
Yeah.
And Timu Crocodile Hunter saying,
Uh-huh. Daddy's doing a great job carrying her bag of milk bones.
It's like,
oh,
what is that? Like,
so stupid.
It was real bad.
Yeah.
What'd you have for best move?
Few and far between. I'm going to go with Willow climbing over the fence and hitting Oswolf with the trash can.
I like that one too. I already kind of tipped mine. Cordy with the hard stop, knocking the werewolf off the roof of the car.
Nice.
And finally, what'd you have for most likely?
Most likely to, fingers crossed, end up in one of those news stories where the poacher gets eaten by the poached. I would love for that to be Kane's fate.
Ours are remarkably similar.
Oh my God, I can't wait. What is it?
Most likely to have one of his teeth wind up on a werewolf's necklace, hopefully.
Hey.
Kane.
I love it. Oh my gosh, he got 2 most likely.
Great minds thinking alike. All right, that's our episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. Please give this a like. Please share this with a friend. Share this with a stranger. Share it on your social media. We just need to get the word out. Check out our Patreon, $5 a month. We do a watch along for every episode. We do a mini-sode for every episode. And yeah, while you're at it, check out our other show, Kim and Ket Stay Alive Maybe, co-starring her and the hilarious Kim Burns, produced by me, comes out every Wednesday at KK Sam Podcast on social media. This show is on social media at Major Slayage Pod. We're back next week with episode 16. I don't even know what it's called. Don't remember it at all, but I can't wait. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time. Until then,
dust you later.